So, very good morning to all. Uh, this is Saturday. I know that you don't have any scheduled lecture, but we are taking this as an extra lecture because we have to wind up the problem solving exercise session. So, for in this week, for most of the time, we spent on solving variety of problems. In that, we covered uh, types of problems such as calculating thermal resistances in series, then uh, overall heat transfer coefficient from that, and finally calculating the rate of heat transfer rate or some temperature difference or temperatures values. Okay. In that also we covered different cases such as heat transfer through composite wall, then heat transfer through composite cylinders. So for example, any any pipe which is carrying some hot fluid, some heat transfer is going to happen across the pipe wall thickness, and that will happen by the combined mode of conduction and convection both. So such cases we handled. Then we went on. I think in the last lecture we discussed one problem on critical radius of insulation. Now I'm sharing the screen, so that should be visible to you. It will start in short time. Okay. Uh, so we covered the problem on critical radius of insulation. The screen, is it visible to you? Any one of you give me confirmation. Say yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So we had covered one problem on critical radius of insulation. That problem was regarding the heat loss, to prevent the heat loss from pipe which is carrying the hot fluid. Okay. In theory, we have seen that the, the insulation when we provide, there are two possibilities. Either heat transfer may increase or may decrease. Okay. And to decide the condition, to get that criteria, we use the concept of critical radius. So critical radius means it is that radius of insulation for a pipe, that is cylindrical object or a sphere. Is that value of radius which gives maximum rate of heat transfer, and we certainly want to avoid this situation. Okay. Particularly in mechanical systems, we have pipe flows where a pipe is carrying some hot fluid or cold fluid, and heat transfer may occur from inside to outside or from outside to inside depending upon temperature difference, and that we certainly want to reduce or want to prevent. So that is why insulation is provided. So purpose of insulation in case of mechanical systems is always to reduce the heat transfer rate. But sometimes when we consider some other situations or some other applications, such as in electrical wire cables, electrical wire cables, all these carry current, and due to current conduction for a longer duration of time, what happens is lot of heat is generated. This is just because of inherent nature of that material. This happens because of resistance, electrical resistance, and due to this resistance, heat generation takes place. And due to heat generation, what will happen? Temperature of those cables and wires, cables, conductors is going to increase. And to limit this rise in temperature and to keep them under safe operating limits, because if heat heat generation goes on continuously, goes on and on, what will happen? Heat will be accumulated in the cable or wire, and eventually it will burn out. Eventually, what will happen? Its strength will decrease, and it will burn out. Okay. And to if it burns out, what will happen? The wire or circuit will get disconnected, and the whole thing will be damaged. Okay. And this situation we certainly want to avoid. Okay. And to avoid this complete wreckage or breakage, we have to think of providing such an insulation material so that whatever heat is generated within the cable, that should be dissipated away to the surrounding. That should be removed. That should be immediately removed from the conductor. If it is removed immediately, what will happen? Temperature will come down. Temperature of the conductor or the cable will be within the safe zone or within the safe operating limit. Okay. So generally, all these wires, cables are provided with plastic or rubber type of material, and these essentially have very low conductivity, very low thermal conductivity. Okay, that is the problem. Otherwise, the purpose of insulation for electrical conductor is to prevent the current, prevent the electric current. Okay, so these insulation material, they do their job very fine when it comes to preventing electric shocks or electric current. But when it comes to conduction of heat, because of their low conductivity, uh, they are they are poor transformer of heat. Okay, very poor conductors of heat, and because of this, their poor conductivity, low thermal conductivity, heat dissipation becomes a problem. Dissipation becomes a problem, and to avoid this situation, we have to check for critical radius of insulation. Okay, and we have seen in theory that there certainly is some value of critical radius where we can increase the rate of heat transfer, where we can increase this heat dissipation. Okay, so this the coming up problem is of that type. In that, what we have to see is we have to provide an insulation material for an electrical conductor or cable in such a way that heat transfer rate will be maximum. Heat transfer rate will be maximum. Okay, so yeah, as you can see on your screen, I hope it is clearly visible as well as readable. Okay, uh, I will read out: an electrical conductor of 10 mm diameter, insulated by PVC. PVC is a short name, that is polyvinyl chloride of plastic material, having conductivity K 0.18 watt per meter degrees Celsius, is located in air at 30 degrees Celsius, having convective heat transfer coefficient of 7.8 watt per meter square degrees Celsius. If the surface temperature of base conductor is 85 degrees Celsius, then calculate. So these many things have to be calculated. Just wait for a second. I will just check out if somebody is trying to join. So once again, I am requesting all of you to join right on time when it is begin starting at the 10:30 or whatever time given. So otherwise, you are going to miss out the initial part, and there will not be a continuity, and possibility is there you might not understand going on, what is going on throughout the lecture. Okay, so it will be like a loss to you as well as me, and as well as for whole class. Okay, so to avoid this, you have to make sure that you will join right on time. So okay, coming back to problem. So okay. Then we have to calculate number one, current capacity of conductor when 2 mm thick insulation is provided. In bracket, it is given take resistivity of conductor sigma. This symbol is sigma, yeah, as 70 micro ohm centimeter. 70 micro ohm centimeter. Number two, critical insulation thickness. Number three, maximum current carrying capacity, and number 4, percentage increase in current capacity by providing critical insulation. Okay, so this is quite a big problem, because four different values or parameters we have to find out. So situation is like this: electrical conductor is having diameter 10 mm, and it is insulated by PVC material. K value is given for it. It is very low, 0.18 watt per meter degree Celsius. And this electrical conductor is located in the air at the 30 degrees Celsius. So whatever heat generation will happen inside the conductor, that heat can be lost to, or that heat can be that heat will be transferred to the surrounding air, air or surrounding environment, which is at 30 degrees Celsius. And for that air, uh, that will be by convection. So convective heat transfer coefficient H, small h, is given 7.8 watt per meter square degree Celsius. And if the surface temperature of base conductor is 85 degrees Celsius, and then we have to calculate these many things. Okay, as you know, cable or any conductor is like a straight cylinder. Okay, cables have diameter and they have uh, certainly long length. Okay, very large length. So we can take it is a case of cylinder. It is a case of long solid cylinder. Okay, so it certainly has some length and very small diameter. Okay, from diameter we can find out radius, and the surface temperature of that conductor is given 85 degrees Celsius. Okay, so first thing is current capacity of conductor when 2 mm thick insulation is provided. So insulation thickness is given. 10 diameter is the wire diameter, and over that 2 radial thickness of insulation is provided. So, the insulation diameter will be 10 plus 2 plus 2, that is 14 Okay, so current carrying capacity we have to find out. For that matter, first we have to find out the rate amount of heat lost. Then relating that amount of heat loss to the electrical power, we can find out current I. Okay. Then second is critical insulation thickness. In this critical radius, we have to find out. Third is maximum current carrying capacity. That will depend on this thing, critical radius. And lastly, percentage increase in capacity. Okay. Okay. So this is the the current conductor is in the cylindrical shape. So it, and we are looking at the cross section. If you like take the cross section, so inside solid circle or solid cylinder is base conductor, and uh, over it, that is on the outside surface of it, insulation cover is provided. So this layer is of insulation. This is of PVC material. Okay, so inner radius, or R1 is the radius of the conductor. Now see, this is solid cylinder, there is no inner and outer. Okay, there is no any hole inside. This is a solid cylinder. Okay, because conductor, as you know, it will not have any hollow part in it. It will be completely filled, so it is a solid cylinder. So, for conductor, radius is R1, and for insulation, radius is R2 because of excessive thickness. For insulation, it will have inner radius as R1 and outer radius as R2. It is for insulation. Okay. Then RC, let us say it is a critical radius. T1, let us say T1 is the base temperature of conductor, that is 85 degrees Celsius. That is surface temperature of bare conductor or bare wire is 85 degrees Celsius. And TO, that is outside air temperature. Now this is exposed to surrounding air. Okay, which is air is in contact with this insulation. So that is in at 30 degrees Celsius. And now see, let us say K is the conductivity of PVC material, which is given 0.18 watt per meter degree Celsius. And heat transfer coefficient H, because at the outside, from the insulation surface to the outside air, heat transfer is by convection, because there is a fluid involved, because there is a fluid motion and fluid involved. So heat transfer will be by convection. H equal to 7.8 watt per meter square Kelvin or degrees Celsius. So now first see, through the conductor it will be by, first it will be by conduction, and then through the insulation it will be again by conduction, and from insulation outside surface to air it will be by convection. Okay, that is why there are two modes of combined modes of heat transfer in action at the same time: conduction through conductor, conduction through insulation, because both are solid materials, and then lastly by convection at the outer surface of insulation. Okay, now we can construct a thermal circuit, an equivalent thermal circuit in this form. So first, now we are considering only conduction through insulation part and convection through air part. Only two resistances will take we will take. Okay, so R1, let us say, is the resistance, thermal resistance of solid insulation material, and R2, let us say, it is a convective resistance of air, convective resistance of surrounding air. T1 is 85 degrees Celsius, and T0, that is air temperature, 30 degrees Celsius. So delta T available for this series connection is T1 minus TO, 85 minus 30. Now let us say R1 is equal to diameter by 2. Diameter D1 is 10 mm, 10 by 2, that is 5 mm. Mm has to be in meters, in SI units, so 0.005 meter. Now we are providing 2 mm thick insulation, so R2 will be R1 plus 2, that is insulation thickness. So 7 mm, that is 0.007 meter. Now delta T, heat transfer rate is equal to delta T upon summation of R thermal equal to delta T upon R1 plus R2. R1, R2 we will find individually. R1 equal to log to the base E of R1, R2 by R1. You can also write it as ln. Okay, both ways are okay. Log to the base E also means it is simply ln, ln of R2 by R1. That is natural log of this ratio divided by 2 pi kl. Now K is the conductivity of insulating material. So, so put the radius R2 by R1. This is ratio 7 by 5. Since this is a ratio, units will not matter because you can put millimeter to millimeter both both in numerator and denominator, or you can put meter to meter. Okay, so log of 7 by 5 divided by 2 pi, k is 0.18 as given, and let us consider length to be 1 meter. It is actually not given in the problem. Whenever it is not given, so we can assume it to be unity, so per meter. Okay, so R1 0.297 degrees Celsius per watt or Kelvin per watt. Then R2 is 1 upon H into area, that is 1 upon heat transfer coefficient into surface area. So 1 upon H is also given, H of air 7.8 into area of the outside cylinder of the insulation material. Okay, this is circumference 2 pi R2 into length, 2 pi R into length. So 2 pi R2 into length. Okay, 2 pi into R2 is 0.007 into length is 1 meter. Now resistance R2 is equal to 2.915 degrees Celsius per watt. So both resistances are obtained. We can add them to get the total equivalent thermal resistance. So Q equal to 85 minus 30. This is delta T divided by total resistance, that is sum of these two, is equal to 17.12 watt per meter. Okay, per meter we are writing because we have considered length to be 1 meter. So heat transfer rate is this much. Okay, so heat loss from the conductor is this much. Let us say whatever power is consumed by the electrical conductor, the electrical power consumed, that is all getting converted to heat transfer. Okay, so there is a conversion of electrical energy into heat energy. Okay, because why, from where this heat is coming? This heat is coming from because of the power conduction, that is electrical conduction, and there is a electrical power that will be converted into heat transfer rate. Okay, so Q is equal to rate of heat transfer is equal to rate of power. Current must be in ampere and resistance, electrical resistance must be in ohm. Okay, Now, from electrical theory, we know that resistance of electrical wire is also given like this. That is R equal to sigma L upon area. Okay. Now, this sigma is resistivity of wire. Okay. So that is electrical parameter. That its value is given in the problem. So we are relating to electrical resistance like this. Sigma is the electrical resistivity of wire, L is the length of that wire, and now this area is actually cross section of this wire, cross section of the wire. Okay, now this area is different, and the area we considered for heat transfer rate, that is different. The area for heat transfer rate was surface area, that is why you find different formula, that is perimeter into length 2 pi rl. But now this area is cross sectional area, cross section is circular, so it will be pi by 4 d square or pi r square. Okay, now we can find out the current from this heat transfer rate. So uh, q equal to I square r, so I square equal to q divided by r. Now I equal to under root of q by r, so current is equal to under root q into r will be replaced like this. R, for r we know the relation equal to sigma into L upon A. Now this is in denominator, so it will reverse. It will be inverse of this. So q into A upon sigma into L. Now A cross sectional area, as I said, so pi r square. Then sigma into L. Okay, sigma into L. Okay, then current I is equal to, let us put all the values. Rate of heat transfer, we just found out that 17.12 watt, pi as it is, and radius. Now R, this R should be the resistance, sorry, radius of the only conducting wire, only the electrical wire or cable. uh, there you should not consider the insulation thickness. Okay, because current flow is happening only through conductor, so you should not take the radius of insulation also here. Okay, so that should be 0.005. Okay, divided by sigma. Now sigma is given in some different units. This is given resistivity of this is electrical parameter, so it is given in their usual what I can say, their electrical usual units. Okay, it is expressed in 70 micro ohm centimeter. We have to get it in SI units. We have to get it in the SI units. SI unit will be ohm into meter. Ohm into meter. Now micro is attached, so it is we know the multipliers. Micro means 10 raised to minus 6, so that is why multiplied by 10 raised to minus 6. Then centimeter, centimeter to meter, for conversion to meter, we have to add the multiplier of 10 raised to minus 2. Okay, because 1 centimeter equal to rather 1 meter equal to 100 centimeter, that is 10 raised to 2 centimeter, and we are converting 1 centimeter into meter, so that will be 10 raised to minus 2 meter. Okay, so 1 centimeter equal to 10 raised to minus 2 meter. So these multipliers are attached, so you get finally 17 to 10 raised to minus 8 ohm into meter. Ohm into meter. Okay, now put this value in SI units in this form. So we get current I equal to, after taking solving this under root expression, and we get current I equal to 43.82 ampere. 43.82 ampere. So first answer is current carrying capacity of the conductor is this much. Now let us see second answer, that is critical radius of insulation. So RC equal to K by H. K conductivity of insulating material, and H the heat transfer coefficient. Put in SI units, so 0.18 divided by 7.8, we get 0.023 meters. 0.023 meters. Okay, so this is critical radius in meters. We can convert it into millimeter. It will be, in millimeter we will get 23 millimeters. Okay, multiply by 1000, you get 23 millimeters. Now see thickness. critical thickness, we can say it is a critical thickness, is equal to RC minus R1, that is critical radius minus the radius of bare conductor or bare wire, RC minus R1 equal to 0.023, this minus radius, that is 0.05 radius of the wire, bare wire. So thickness comes out as 18 millimeter, 0.018 meter, that is 18 millimeter. So critical thickness of insulation should be 18 millimeter, as against the insulation provided in the existing state is 2 millimeter. Only 2 millimeter is provided. So we can go up to about 18 millimeter. So from 2 millimeter up to 18 millimeter, we can increase the thickness of insulation. Okay. So it indicates up to there is a margin for increase from 2 millimeter to 18 millimeter. If we increase up to this value, heat transfer rate will be increased, and that will be maximum. That will be maximum. Okay. So we know that condition when critic radius of insulation is equal to critical radius. In this case, that is 23 millimeter. Heat transfer rate will be maximum. So let us find maximum heat transfer rate. So Q max equal to delta T upon summation R thermal is equal to delta T upon again sum of R thermal will be R1 plus R2. Now in this case R1 will change, resistance of insulating material will change because we have changed the radius of insulation. So in place of R2 it will be RC, that is critical radius of insulation. Instead of putting the earlier radius which was 7 mm, now from 7 mm to it will increase up to 23 mm because critical radius is 23 mm. So take the only this value will change, rest others remain constant or same. Now just you put in this relation and do the calculations, you get resistance equal to 1.349 degrees Celsius per watt or Kelvin per watt. Then R2, again here also radius will change, outer radius of insulation. Okay, so convective area is increasing, so convective resistance will change and it will certainly decrease. So 1 upon h into 2 pi RC critical radius into length L. So calculate, you get 0.887 into 0.887 degrees Celsius per watt. You can compare these values to earlier one. For that we have to go back couple of pages back. Okay, so you can do it once I share this PDF. We can compare those values to earlier case. Okay, then you can certainly get the idea what change occurs when you add the critical insulation of critical thickness. Okay, so Q max is obtained as 24.6 watt per meter. Now we can again find out the current maximum current carrying capacity using the same procedure we did in first step. Okay, so I max equal to under root Q max into area upon L into sigma. Okay, now we are directly taking this form or this form of equation because we have already done this step in the number one while finding out the answer number one. Okay, for more details, you can refer to that page and you will get the exact idea. Okay, so I max equal to under root Q max heat transfer rate is this. So this is put area pi r square. Okay, pi into 0.005 square into sigma will be the same. Okay, that is put in SI units. We get I max equal to 52.53 ampere. So this is the maximum current carrying capacity. Now we can find the difference and then find the percentage increase. Okay, in early percentage increase will be given by I max in minus I, that is initial current carrying capacity compared to initial carrying capacity in 200%. So maximum is 52.53 and initially it was 43.8827. Okay, so certainly because of provision of this critical radius of insulation, heat transfer rate improved and thereby current carrying capacity also improved. Current carrying capacity also increased. Okay, so this is the change from 43 to 52, almost 10 units changes there. So if you take the difference and divide by previous case, you get percentage increase. Percentage increase is 16.56%. So by just providing the right amount or critical amount, the right amount of insulation equal to critical thickness or critical radius, the current carrying capacity can be increased by 16.56%. Okay, so this is quite a large problem. Lot of things we discussed in this. Okay, and by this we get the significance. We get the understanding of the significance of this parameter, critical radius of insulation, and what wonders it can do. Okay, what changes are occurred and how we can either increase or decrease the rate of heat transfer by just changing the thickness. Okay, as according to the critical radius, according to the critical radius. Okay, so now we have covered two types of problems for critical radius. In one case we saw uh, how heat transfer rate can be reduced, and the other case, that is this problem, that how heat transfer rate can be increased. Okay, so both cases are covered. uh, all these PDF files I'm going to share on Google Classroom, and also as a part of your assignment as a homework, you have to do this exercise. Okay, here I'm only showing this ready-made solution to you, but uh, what you have to do for your practice is you have to go through all these steps, and you have yourself you have to do all these calculations on your with on your own calculators. Okay, otherwise you are not going to get any practice, and problems are many, or plenty of problems are there in this subject. So, and you are also going to get a lot of variety. Okay, lot of variety. So to get used to that and to get more and more practice, you should uh, you should have a sufficient amount of exercise. All these calculations you have to do by your own, and you have to cross verify whether you are getting the same answers or not. Okay, and only by that way you can perfect yourself. Okay, as it is said, practice makes okay, more practice, more the more perfection you can get. Okay, so this is about the critical radius of insulation problems. Now let us cover some more problems, some other variety. Let me take you. So far, whatever we problems we have seen, those were the type of resistances in series. Okay, all the materials were in successive manner, and they in all those problems we got the resistances, that is conductive or convective resistances in series connection. Okay, now we will cover some problems which in which we will get to see the parallel connection. Okay, parallel connection of resistances. So let us see such type of problems. I have changed the screen. You should be able to see the same. Yes, any one of you give me confirmation. Are you able to see the change of screen? Yes. Okay, Chaitanya says yes. Everyone is getting the same. It should be the same. Okay. So I assume that it's all right, or everything is okay at everyone's end. And assuming this, we will proceed further. So the next problem is like this: a square plate heater size is given 15 centimeter by 15 centimeter. So it means 15 centimeter length, 15 centimeter width is inserted between two slabs it inserted between two slabs. A slab A is 2 centimeter thick. In bracket for conductivity K is given 50. 50. No unit is provided. It means it is SI unit, watt per meter Kelvin or watt per meter degree Celsius. And slab B is 1 centimeter thick. Slab B is 1 centimeter thick. Its material is different, so K is zero point 0.2 watt per meter degree Celsius. Outside heat transfer coefficients on both sides of A and B are 200 watt per meter square Kelvin and 30 watt per meter square uh, Kelvin respectively. Okay. Temperature of surrounding air is 25 degrees Celsius. The heater is rated at 1 kilowatt. Find number 1 maximum temperature of the system and number 2 outer surface temperature on both sides. Okay. Now let us understand what is given. Okay, whenever solving the problem, whenever directly getting into the solving, uh, we have to first understand the situation, understand the physics of the problem, and by understanding the physics, we have to draw the proper sketch. And once you draw the proper sketch, then you can proceed further. Okay, so while solving the problem, first part is very important. First part is understanding the problem is very important. Okay, once you understand the problem, then 60 to 70% job is done. Only what remains is only calculations. Okay, and calculations, it is just a number game. You have to just play with the numbers, and you will uh, you have to take care of units, and then you can easily get the answers. Okay, uh, uh, the trick in the heat transfer is like there is no any direct formula. Okay, problems are not so straightforward. Problems are not so straightforward. You don't have any general formula where you can just put in the values and you get direct answer. Okay, so there is no any general or like a golden formula. For every case, you have to handle in different way. You have to apply the theoretical knowledge in a different way, even though the the end equations are same. That is end quantities are same. You have to find heat transfer rate or overall transfer coefficient or temperature differences or temperature values. Even though answers are going to be the same quantities, but but obtaining them will be a different thing, will be a challenging thing. Okay, so it is like there is no any one simple formula that fits for all. Okay, it is like this. It is like this. So every case is different, every problem situation is different. You have to modify, you have to develop the equations in that way. By only understanding it can be done only by proper understanding of the given situation or given physics. Now in this case, you see a square plate heater is given. Its size is given 15 centimeter by 15 centimeter. Okay, a plate like a heater is there, and it is inserted between the two slabs. So it is like sandwich. Okay, you know the idea, that is any bread sandwich you take for your eating for breakfast or whatever as a food. So how it is sandwiched? All the food stuff is in between, and it is covered by two slices or two plates of the bread, one at the top and the other at the bottom. Okay, or the same is case with any burger, veg burger. Okay, so in the same way it is given. There are two slabs, slab A and slab B, and the square plate heater is sandwiched in between these two layers. Okay, and slab A, slab B, uh, they are having their own thicknesses, and their conductivity values are also given. And and this whole composition of these three materials, that is, uh, the square plate heater is in between, and slab A on one side and slab B on the other side. So there are in all three layers, and this complete assembly is uh, exposed to outside ambient, and heat transfer coefficients on A side and B side are different. On A side and B side are different. On A side, it is 200 watt per meter square Kelvin, and on B side, it is 30 watt per meter square Kelvin. And even though heat transfer coefficients are different, the surrounding air is still the same, that is 25 degrees Celsius. Now, heater is generating the heat at the rate of 1 kilowatt. So, heating capacity is given. It is going to produce 1 kilowatt of heat transfer rate. Heat generation is at the rate of 1 kilowatt. Okay, so it is power rating actually. The same electrical power is going to convert into heat transfer rate. So, heat generation rate and electrical power both are the same, and it is 1 kilowatt. Okay, so heater will produce the heat, and that heat will be transferred through on both sides, through one through slab A, and the other on other side it is through slab B. Okay, and in such a situation we have to find out maximum temperature of the system and outer surface temperatures for the both slabs or both plates. Okay, let us see how it can be picturized. So this can be picturized like as shown in the diagram. Okay, so this is the heater plate. It is sandwiched between the two plates. Uh, on left hand side it is plate A, and on the left right hand side it is plate B. Plate A or slab A is thickness 2 centimeter, and plate B it has thickness of 1 centimeter. Conductivity values are different. Let us say K1 is for A and K2 is for B. Okay, let us say left hand side is A side and right hand side is a B side. Now A side is exposed to air on this side, and its temperature is 25 degrees Celsius, and its heat transfer coefficient is H1 because it is different. H1 is given uh, where it is shown. I think from the problem statement we can get the idea of H1. Okay, on A side it is 200 watt per meter square Kelvin, and on B side, let us say it is H2. On B side it is 30 watt per meter square Kelvin. Okay, so this is the situation. What will happen? Heater plate will produce the heat at this center location, and that heat, the heat rate is 1 kilowatt, and now this 1 kilowatt will get distributed, will get divided. It will be divided in two channels or two paths. One heat loss or heat transfer will be on A side. Let us say Q1 is the rate of heat transfer in A side, and let us say Q2 is the rate of heat transfer on B side. Q1 is on A side and Q2 is on B side. So 1 kilowatt, whatever is generated by the heater, it will be divided into two parts. Okay, 1 kilowatt will be divided into two parts. Okay, and that division will depend on the resistances, thermal resistances on both sides. It will be different on A side, it will be different on B side. If both sides are having equal same thermal resistances, then the division will be equal. So half amount of heat will flow in this side, and half amount will flow into this side. Okay, in that case, situation will be very simpler, and let us say 1 kilowatt is the generated heat. Kilowatt, so SI unit is always we follow in watt, so we have to convert kilowatt into watt. So 1 kilowatt means 1000 watt, and if it is equal on both sides, equal resistance, in that case 500 watt will flow in this side and 500 watt will flow in this side. Okay, but that is not the case here because materials are different, and heat transfer coefficient on both sides, those are also different. Okay, because of this what will happen? Unequal distribution will happen. Okay, so heat transfer rate will be maximum on the side which has lower resistance. Okay, so heat transfer rate is inversely proportional to thermal resistance. If thermal resistance is more, heat transfer rate will be less, and if thermal resistance is less, then heat transfer rate will be more. Okay, so this is the case of parallel connection because there are two paths. Heat is getting distributed into two paths. Okay, that is why it is a parallel. It is a in this case thermal resistances are in parallel connection. Okay, so from this we can construct an equivalent thermal circuit like this. In between there is a temperature difference, potential difference, delta T, and let us say this is the A side, This is the A side, as you can see here, and this is B side. On A side, there are some resistances. On B side, there are some resistances, and uh, they are in parallel connection to each other. Okay, so uh, now let us put some notations to the variables. uh, on this side, on A side, let us say temperature is T1. Now this temperature T1 is for heater temperature, heater plate temperature, and let us say T2 is the temperature of the same heater on B side. Okay, numerically both will be the same because temperature or heat generation will be uniform in the heater plate. So both the temperatures on both sides will be the same. Only for our understanding and to avoid confusion, we are naming them as T1 and T2. Okay, finally we are going to get the same value. Okay, so for A side, let us say it is a T1, and for B side it is T2. Okay, uh, on left side, let us have some more temperatures. That is, at the outer surface of this plate A, temperature will be T3, and temperature and the air which is in contact with this A plate on left hand side, let us say it is temperature T5. It is temperature T5. Same way on right hand side on B side, let us say T4 is the temperature of the surface of the plate B, external surface of the plate B, and air temperature is T6. Here also we are having air, and its temperature is, let us say, T6. In the problem as per given, on both sides air temperature is same. So T5, even though we are using different notations, they will have the same temperatures as given in the problem. There may be the case where temperatures also will also change. Okay, that we are going to see in the next problem. But this problem, T5 is 25 degrees Celsius, T6 is 25 degrees Celsius. Okay, then so temperature gradient is there from temperature is in decreasing order, T1 then to T3 then to T5. So to the same way on right hand side, heat transfer is taking place from T2 to T4, then from T4 to T6. Okay. Uh, Now, how heat will transfer? Then, uh, since A and B both are solid plate materials, so first it will be by conduction on either side. Okay, let us say for left side, it will be by conduction from heater plate through this plate material A, and then from this surface to outside air it will be by convection. From this plate to this air it will be by convection. Same will happen on right hand side, first by conduction through plate B, and from this surface to outside air it will be by convection. Okay, so two modes of heat transfer are involved on either side: conduction, convection. Here also conduction, convection. Okay, then now we can consider the thermal resistances which are like connected in parallel. Uh, as shown here, delta T is the temperature difference. Q1 is heat transfer rate is divided in Q1 and Q2. Q1 is flowing through this path, that is to left hand side, and Q2 is flowing to right hand side along this path. Okay, now this is uh, Mm, okay, we can simplify this structure because in this circuit it is not so easy to identify how it is not easy to view the resistances in parallel. So we can rearrange and we can show like this. This is also equivalent to this. So there are two uh, parallel paths, and in those parallel path also again these two resistances are in series, like R1 and R3 are in series, and R2 and R4 are in series in their individual paths. Okay, and they are their combination is coming in parallel. Okay, R1 and R3 together are in series, R2 and R4 together are in series, and their series combinations are coming in parallel with each other. Okay, then so this way we can show a thermal circuit delta T, and this uh, Now the other given values are like slab A, K1 is 50 watt per meter Kelvin, B1 is 2 centimeter, in meters we get 0.02 meter. Then T1 is to be found out. This is going to be the maximum temperature. The same will be true for temperature T2, that will also be maximum, and eventually both will be equal, T1 and T2. T1 equal to T2 and T5 is also equal to T6. Okay. So overall entire temperature difference is T1 minus T5, which is equal to T2 minus T6. On left hand side we are saying it is T1 minus T5. On right hand side it is T2 minus T6. Both numerically will be the same. So delta T equal to T1 minus T5, same equal to T2 minus T6. And heat transfer rate Q is getting divided into two parts. So total will be Q equal to Q1 plus Q2. Sum of these two will be the same. Okay. For slab B, K2 is zero point 0.2 watt per meter Kelvin, B2 is 1 centimeter, so 0.01 meter, and again T2 is to be found out. Okay, now let us evaluate uh, the individual paths. First, we will see for A side and then for B side. Now, resistances we will find out R1 equal to conductive resistance, so B upon K, B1 upon K1 into area A. Since this is a case of plain wall, area cross section area will remain same throughout. Will remain same for all the components. Okay, so B1 upon K1 into area is equal to uh, let us put all them in SI units. So you get 0.011778 degrees Celsius per watt. Then R2 is again conductive resistance on B side of the plate. So B2 upon K2 into area. Put all the values in SI units. So you get 2.22 degrees Celsius per watt. Then R3 is convective resistance on A side, that is left side, due to air. It is 1 upon HA. So 1 upon H1 into area. So 1 upon H1 is 200, area is 0.0225. Okay, now where from this area has come? Area to find out this cross sectional area, dimensions are given 15 centimeter by 15 centimeter. Okay, this is in centimeter. We convert to meter like 0.15 into 0.15. So you get 0.0225 meter square. Okay, same way, resistance R4 is 1 upon H2 into A. H2 heat transfer coefficient 30. Put area, you get 1.481 degrees Celsius per watt. So all four resistances are now calculated. Now you from diagram we have seen R1 and R3 are in series. So let us say RA on A side resistance is uh, RA is the series resistance. So it is R1 plus R1 plus R3. So add them together, you get 0.24 degrees Celsius per watt or Kelvin per watt. Same in the same way on B side, R2 and R4 are in series. So RB is equal to 2.22 plus this R4 1.481. You get RB equal to 3.70 degrees Celsius per watt. Now RA and RB, which are series connections. Now RA and RB are in parallel. RA and RB are in parallel, and for parallel equivalent thermal resistance is given like 1 upon R thermal equal to 1 upon RA plus 1 upon RB. This is addition of reciprocals. Okay. So from this, RTH is equal to RA into RB upon RA plus RB. Put RA RB already found. So you get equivalent thermal resistance for entire parallel circuit as 0.2253 degrees Celsius per watt. Now we can use this to find uh, the entire temperature difference. So it can be Q equal to delta T upon equivalent thermal resistance of a parallel circuit. So delta T upon 0.2253. We know heat transfer rate because it is 1 kilowatt, that is 1000 watt. So from this delta T we get 225.3 degrees Celsius. So because temperature delta T was unknown, okay, delta T was unknown, so it is 225.3 degrees Celsius. Now we can find temperature T1 and T2, which are maximum temperatures. So delta T is T1 minus T5 equal to to 225.3. Now T5 is given, that is 25. So only unknown is T1. So T1 we get 250.3 degrees Celsius. Same will be applicable for T2. Same will be applicable for T2. So maximum temperature is 250.3 degrees Celsius. That is appearing, that is being generated at the center location of this heater plate. Okay, so temperature at this location will be 250 point something degrees Celsius, and on both sides, because of this temperature gradient or temperature difference, in at the center plane it is 250, and on this side it is 25, this side it is 25. Because of this huge temperature difference, heat transfer is taking place. Okay, but it will be it is it will be unequal because of different resistances in on either side. Okay, now we have now found out the maximum temperature. The next part is we have to find out surface temperatures. Surface temperatures on both sides, that is T3 and T4. Okay, now both will be different because of their different thermal resistances on either side. For this, again, we can use the same heat transfer rate problem for equation Q1 equal to delta T upon uh, now heat transfer rate Q1 is on A side, so delta T upon RA. Uh, on A side, we will use this temperature difference and resistance RA. So you get heat transfer rate equal to 938.75 watt. And on heat transfer rate on B side, Q2 can be found out from this relation. That is, total rate is 1000 minus, if we remove this Q1, we will get Q2. So Q equal to Q1 plus Q2. So Q2 equal to 1000 minus this value. Now Q2 is 61.25 watt. Now you can just compare these two figures. Q1 is very, very large. It is very close to 1000. That is 938, this value. And heat transfer on B side, it is very, very small. That is 61.25. You can see the difference. Such a large difference is there. Why this is so large distance? Because resistance on B side is very, very large as compared to resistance on A side. Okay, if you go to this, you will find, you will get to, okay, here you can compare. RA is only 0.24, whereas RB is 3.7. Okay, so it is more than 10 times greater. Okay, so that is why we get unequal division of heat transfer on both sides. Okay, so from this we can find out by using the same relation for resistances, for respective resistances, we can find out T3 as 233 degrees Celsius. Uh, on the slab B, we find T4 equal to 114.32 degrees Celsius. Here also you see the change. T3 is very large, 233, which is very close to 250, whereas the on slab B, it is dropping to 114.32 degrees Celsius. This is because of very high resistance on B side. Okay, so with this, we complete one more type of parallel combination of resistances, thermal resistances. Okay, so the catch in such type of a problem is to identify whether whether resistances are in parallel or series. That can only be clear when you clearly understand the given problem statement or given situation. Okay, because nothing is given about resistances are in series or parallel. That we have to devise, that we have to identify. Okay, by properly drawing the figure. That is why figure is very important. Figure is very, very important. Okay, with this, I think the time is 11:30. We have almost spent one complete hour. So with this, we will stop at this moment, and let me take your today's attendance, and then you can depart. I think one more lecture is lined up. That is applied thermodynamics one, and that is in the next. Okay. So all these problems I am going to put up on Google Classroom, and you are going to solve all them as a part of your assignment. That also I will clearly message you about that on either WhatsApp or on Google Classroom. Okay. Meanwhile, if you have we are almost done with 3 weeks now. Okay. So if you have any trouble in understanding the subject, okay, you can notify about the same. You can contact me on a phone call, or you have my WhatsApp number. Same you can obtain from the group itself. You can message me personally. Okay. And there should not be any hesitation. Please don't shy away. ओके. म्हणजे लाजायचं काही कारण नाही आहे. समजत नाही तर समजत नाही म्हणून स्पष्टपणे तुम्ही मला सांगू शकता. ओके. तुमच्याकडनं फीडबॅक मिळाला तर त्या पद्धतीनं मी ॲडजस्ट किंवा मॉडिफाय करू शकतो. ओके. इफ वी आर गोइंग व्हेरी स्लो, और आय एम गोइंग व्हेरी फास्ट, दॅट ऑल्सो आय कॅन गेट अंडरस्टँडिंग फ्रॉम युअर साइड. And as per your feedback, I can adjust my way of teaching. Okay, my way of delivery. Okay. Okay. I think everything is all right. Everything is clear. Attendance is also recorded. Okay. Okay. You may leave now. Thank you. Thank you. We'll meet again in the next week. Thank you.